Yo, JD here, Total Limits, and as you can see, back on F1 2020 as always. And this is just a couple of races from my online lobbies that I do, so make sure you follow me on Twitter if you want to participate. Starting in P14 at the Vietnam Hanoi circuit, getting a pretty decent start. The Ferrari, clipping the Ferrari, going turn one and going in between a Haas and my teammate. You can tell it's a little bit more punchy in these lobbies because it's not a league race, it's not that deep, not that serious, but still plenty of things you could take away as the Haas completely loses it and explodes on the exit. No idea what happened to him there. And now we're behind T10 Shadow, a guy who races in TSRO and WOR as well. I think on one lap pace, if he gets a lap in, he's probably one of the fastest men on Xbox. Going down the inside of Danny Rick F1. So I don't know if that's the real Ricardo or not, but he goes all out wide and we go straight ahead of him. So we made up 6 positions now into P8. And the story of this video, which I really like doing these kind of videos, and I really like doing these lobbies, to be honest, because as I said, there's a lot of things you can really take away from doing races like this. But as we go into this braking zone, an absolute missile comes down the inside, and that is a common theme of lobbies like this, where people are very, very dirty and they don't want to play nice or anything at all. It really does kind of, I can't say develop your racecraft, because some people just don't have racecraft in these lobbies, but it really does test your reaction skills, and that's for sure here. But now, the thing to take away from this is you should always keep fighting until the very, very end, because then, especially lobbies like this, you have no idea what is going to happen in the last few remaining laps. So we let the racing point T10 Shadow have this corner. He goes super, super defensive, so we go around the outside of him, outbraking him around the outside, just about getting him done. We're staying on track, and the Red Bull and the Haas are not playing nicely, and we get 3 people going through into turn 2 and now into P5. So this is a very, very good start, avoiding all the obstacles and the grenades at the moment. And that's one of the things I think you can definitely take away from online, is just your pure reaction and just anticipating when something is going to happen, which hopefully people don't drive like that when it comes to a league race or anything at all. But it's not a bad thing to really try to test or brush up your reaction skills at all. But what I was trying to say is that in races such as this, 5-lappers, or when you just do any race online for that matter, I think the key thing is to just always keep going, because the penalty situation, the incidents and stuff, and I think just racing with people who maybe don't have as good racecraft and stuff as well, and just a whole range of different speeds. Because for example, a guy called Thomas Dude, who is in this lobby, and people like T10 Shadow and people like that, you get some very, very top tier level league races in lobbies like this. But then you also have people who don't have much experience, so just learning to navigate yourself through those things. And I think when I was talking about patience before, I think doing stuff like this has really actually helped my patience, because you certainly need a lot of it here. As the Ferrari, David Weston isn't going to defend, or Devin Weston, I'm sorry, isn't going to defend into turn 1, and now we're into P4. And yeah, it's very, very easy to get frustrated and kind of throw in a towel in scenarios like this, like when you've just been completely taken out and then you manage to just come back. It's sometimes you just want to just quit out and go into a new lobby. But things like this is a really, really good test for your patience. It really is. But navigating through this nicely now. Didn't get a warning this time. Double shifting, or not double shifting, but normally I should double shift up into there just to minimize distraction, get a good exit. Using a lot of overtake just to try and deter T10 Shadow from going past me. But it looks like he's got some pretty good straight line speed. So we're going to defend this on the inside, force him to go to the outside. And this corner is just so hard to spot your breaking point, really. As you can see, he's gone in very, very deep. And I saw this as an opportunity to get past the Red Bull. Ali Star going down the inside here. He's going to give me some room. Just about some room, making a little bit of contact on the exit, but going through this section, I've applied the overtake, go around the outside to get the inside for the left-hander, and now we're into a podium position. So within 3 laps, we have made up 11 places, and Yeah, it's I really like this circuit. I know a lot of people don't, but I think for racing it is actually quite good. But the one thing you don't want to do is what exactly I just did there. But you can see that Thomas Dude is pretty fast now, so we've got to try and push as hard as we can. T10 Shadow is a little bit behind. You can hear some explosions going on in the background. I think there's a lot more contact that is going on behind me, but going up into 5th gear just gives you some very good traction. This corner here is so difficult. It's so easy to lose the car. If your average minimum speed is just too high going through here, you will just completely lose the car, and it really will just wash you out wide. There's no run-up area or anything at all. Going up into here now, 4th gear, getting a very nice exit. The setups are enabled in here, so I am running a full setup on this occasion. The exceed gap is about 1.5, so I'm pretty much slam dunk in the middle. I don't know if Shadow's 1.9 behind, can't quite see that, but about 1.6 behind the guys up ahead of me now, and I've got to track me as close as I can. But you can see on that corner, don't want to rush or don't want to drift out onto that curb on the exit, because it will just give you some very poor traction. And I just want to try and get in the DRS zone for the main straight. But like I said before, the guys in front are not slow or anything at all, and this is the benefit. If you really want to get better, then honestly I'd recommend doing stuff like this, because joining a league, if you've never joined a league, could be a little bit intimidating, because a lot of people will know what they're doing in terms of the pit stops, tyre wear and stuff. Whereas here you don't really have to worry about tyre wear or anything at all, and even the fuel and stuff as well. You can run it rich for most of the time, but you still have to harvest a little bit of ERS, but it just will get you into the habit of racing in quite a chaotic scenario, and it should make you a lot calmer when you come to do league racing stuff as well. Short shift in 5th gear again, trying to get a good exit. I'm just trying to get in the DRS zone of Rosie Boy up ahead of me. See, using quite a lot of our ERS now. Going to using lean mix. A lot of people say, why do you do that? It's just to give me better traction, purely. That's it, especially in these kind of races. Going up into 5th gear this time, getting a very nice exit, and now I'm going to deploy the rest of my ERS, and I should be getting DRS, a lot of S's on this game. And you can see he hasn't got the DRS in the car ahead. Let's see what he does. Let's go to the middle of the track, about middle of the track, which is quite annoying because you don't know which side to pick. Go down to here. Luckily, he doesn't try and go down my inside. Get a better exit this time. Double shifting up into 3rd gear just gives you much better control of the wheel spin. And let's see if I can gain a little bit more time. Doing a purple middle sector through the benefit of the overtake button and the DRS. And you can see, as I said again, you never know what can happen, so you've got to push all the way here, and you can see making up some pretty nice time. I absolutely love this last sector. When you get into the rhythm, it just feels absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to do this track in league racing. But going through this last corner, it's a big danger. There is no room for error through here, and going across the line, we set the quickest lap and we win the race, because Thomas Dude had the penalty, which is pretty easy to accumulate around here. So, you know, didn't look like they would go win it at one stage, but if you just keep on pushing, that is an example of what can happen. But moving on to the very next race in the very same lobby, we're at Monza, which was pretty much another scenario of this as well. So we've got 5 lights here, and as they go out now, trying to get a really good start. It's always super chaotic going down into this tail 1 here, and upon braking, I just brake way too late. I just smash into the Mercedes. The Ferrari's on the inside, and going through here is pretty much like bumper cars. You can hear all that rumbling around here, and yeah, I just broke way too late here. But again, it's not that serious. It's not a league race. It's an online lobby where damage is set off, where you can get away with those kind of things. But going through here, having to leave some room on the inside, because Danny Ricciardo is still trying to battle me. But going through into here again, we've got that Thomas Dude in P2, who was a very quick driver in this lobby. I'm not sure if he does any leagues or anything, but he's very quick. And this race here, you'll be able to see that it really develops, again, without trying to mumble my words or anything, but it really will help you develop, just thinking about how to develop that patience that you need, and just being able to just take your time. And I don't know if I just had a brain freeze about 20 seconds ago, but races like this, sometimes when you're in this clear air and you've got a gap in front of you, it really will transition if you want to go into league racing and stuff as well, especially when you're racing against people up ahead of me like I am now, who I consider to be quite quick and quite good at racecraft. It will just really help you just not become frustrated and just a lot more patient and just forward thinking a lot more. And that's something you definitely need for league racing, or if you want to be winning as many races as you can, because a lot of the problems that people have in races such as this, when someone's behind you and they're not that experienced, they're just going to spam the overtake button and they won't think about try to save the ERS as we almost lose the car. And Danny Ricker's putting us under pressure again. But yeah, people just don't think about the next lap or the laps going on from that at all. They only think about it in the moment, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about or just don't possess at all, because obviously they're excited, they're going to do an overtake and stuff, but right now what I'm thinking of is winning this race. And you can see by my ERS use that I'm not interested, well, I used a bit then, but I'm not interested in just using it all up, like depleting all of it at all, because he's got a DRS than me, he's got reasonable pace. I'm looking at the delta to the guys ahead, and I'm just trying to conserve it, because most people fall into this trap of just using their ERS far too early. So you put it back down to lean again, just trying to save my fuel and the ERS, because my plan is to really try to overtake him on the penultimate lap and then just do a very late charge onto the top two, because they may start battling, they might have penalties and stuff as well. I think just too many people just want to make progress too quickly in races, and that goes for league racing as well. Now, sometimes you do need to be aggressive, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the time you just need to be a lot more forward thinking, and that's a trap that I definitely fell into at the end of last game, or just last game in general, to be honest. I was just far too impatient, and I could get this move done now going down the end of this straight if I used all my overtake, but where would that put me? He would just get DRS on me going down the main straight again. I would have used up all my ERS, and you can see we're almost at 100% ERS, and we haven't really lost that much time to the guys behind now. So my plan was, coming off this corner here, Parabolica, is to really try and start making some inroads on the top two. So I'm trying to get as close as I possibly can. And the reason why I've saved up all of this ERS is because now I know that I can pretty much go in rich and use most of my ERS for the next 2 laps completely, and I will be able to attempt to go for the fastest lap as well. So the front two started to battle a bit more, so just pay attention to the delta here. So I'm really going to start to push now as hard as I can. You can see using the ERS and the rich mix the entire time, putting it back down because you still want to save it towards the end of the lap. Some corners you just got to know when you need to use it, because it will just give you that little burst of momentum. Because I think just people use it like on a straight like this, when it's much more beneficial to use it on a much longer straight. So you can see that gap is starting to come down, doing the purple sector 1, and I'm going to use quite a bit coming off this corner and probably turn it off before the bridge, I imagine, which I do, because just continuing to use it is not really going to gain you that much speed, and you'll probably just be too fast into Ascari like we are going through here. But we managed to get a very nice exit, gained another couple of attempts on the cars ahead, got out the DRS zone of the car behind, and with about 50 plus ERS and the fuel, we can comfortably push this quite a bit going into the last lap. So going across the line, on that last lap we had the benefit of DRS. We set a 119.8, which is very quick in a 5-lap scenario. But this is the thing, I imagine the guys up ahead have probably used most of their ERS or fuel already, and we've just got so much more to play with. So we're going to use quite a bit coming off this corner once again as well, but not needing to overuse it too much. And we're just going to use the rest coming out of the Lesmos, and then after Ascari as well. Go through here in 4th gear, curves feel so much better on this game here. You can see Thomas Dude is still like 2.6 seconds ahead, so just confirming that he is extremely quick. Coming off this corner, we get a very good exit. Not quite in the DRS zone, so using the overtake a little bit more now just to see if I can get it and put him a little bit of pressure. We can see we gained about 3 attempts, another purple sector going through into here, and we're actually faster than we were on the previous lap, but the Red Bull has gone out wide and going to Parabolica. Since we have this overtake and ERS, we go to the left and then we go down the inside into Parabolica. Let's see what he tries to do. He tries to go around the outside of me, but we just have so much more grip and the option of the ERS. And going across the line, Thomas Dude takes the win again. We set 19.7 and we win by 0.066 or 68 of a second. No, hundredths of a second. That just shows you why you need to be forward thinking. And it may appear to be quite conservative at times, especially for myself when I do races and stuff, but that is the exact reason. You don't want to be going into last lap without any ammunition, pretty much. If you can win the race with a fuel tank of fuel and fuel ERS, then I would 100%, because if you disconnect or spin out, you just never know what can happen with that. If I used all my ERS before, or I let off a second earlier on the ERS deployment, I wouldn't have won that race and I would have been able to overtake the Red Bull. I hope you've enjoyed these. I really enjoy doing these types of videos. I hope you do too. Hope you enjoy the Grand Prix this weekend, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.